How many people have been indicted in your state right now? Do you know, Governor?
I don't have those numbers with me.
You don't? 98 people been indicted. You happen to know how many are Somali American?
I don't.
We prosecuted over 300 people in the Medicaid fraud area.
300, I would
them.
predict, is a drop in the bucket. But you've never said to stop payments. That's what.
It's one of the highest rates in the country, sir.
Well, you have one of the highest fraud rates in the country.
Your former chief of staff was notified directly by these various commissioners about the fraud in Minnesota.
That could be correct.
So are you saying that your chief of staff didn't notify you?
I'm saying I don't recall.
Governor Tim Walz and Minnesota's Attorney General Keith Ellison facing tough questions on Capitol Hill over accusations that they covered up $9 billion in fraud stolen from taxpayer funds. Joining us now is Dustin Greggy, who is a Minnesota-based Republican strategist and columnist for Town Hall. Good morning to you.
Thanks for having me, Ainsley.
Well, thank you for coming on. That last soundbite where he says the chief of staff notified you. Did your chief of staff knew about it? Did he notify you? And Governor Walz says, I can't remember. Do you believe that?
No, I don't believe it at all, Ainsley. And frankly, the last time Tim Walz had to come in front of Congress, we found out that he had paid legal fees of $400,000 with Minnesota taxpayer dollars to advise him on how to deflect and dodge from his corrupt and problematic policies with illegal aliens. The same thing happened here. He's advised and told not to actually address these questions, to be told, well, I can't speak to that. But Brandon Gill thankfully pushed back on this during this hearing and said, well, it's not that I don't think you can't speak to it. It's that you don't want to speak to it. Because frankly, the truth, and if sunlight were brought to these issues, it is far more damning. And although Tim Walz is quote unquote being held accountable by not running, I think it's more the fact that he has realized to this point he's not viable for dog catcher, let alone governor. So if we want to call that accountability, sure, but I don't buy that one bit. When I go to the grocery store, frankly, Ainsley, and people recognize me, they're pulling me aside and asking, when are we going to start seeing convictions and people going to prison over this? Because this is a serious problem. He clearly has known about this fraud the whole time. He's so much has admitted to that during this process. It's just that he doesn't want to be held truly accountable for the actions of his governorship.
Oh, well, he says he's just being targeted for political retribution. Listen to this.
The people of Minnesota have been singled out and targeted for political retribution at an unparalleled scale, including blocking Medicaid reimbursements to our state just last week. I want your help on fraud. Why would I not want money to go to the programs I care deeply about, feeding people, clothing people, housing people? But what ICE did disrupted everything that we were doing. It disrupted our federal partners, and it forced our law enforcement agencies, who have worked hard to gain the public trust, to have the public believe in them.
So, Dustin, look at what the funds were meant for. They were meant to feed hungry children, provide therapy to autistic children, health care to the vulnerable, Medicaid recipients, assisting people at risk of being homeless. But the funds allegedly went to luxury cars, real estate ventures, extravagant vacations. There were 98 people who have been indicted. They were billing and charging the state for services that were never given. And we're not talking about $100,000. We're talking about $9 billion. So now he's saying this is all political retribution, but that's a lot of money to go missing or to benefit a few people so they can buy big houses and cars when other people are not given their money, other people are being evicted from their apartments, children aren't getting the services that they need.
No, completely true, Ainsley. And frankly, we're only talking about 14 programs with that $9 billion. California is brought up a lot of the time of like, well, this is where most of the fraud's happening. Well, they only have 8 high-risk programs. We have 14. So our fraud problem is much more entrenched in our political landscape here in Minnesota. And yeah, Tim Walz has been at the front of all this. I mean, he's known about this fraud. He's ignored it for so many years. And yeah, he likes
Dustin,
to throw
why
political retribution and pausing payments.
Why would he do that? Why would
because
they
he's
ignore
hiding. Yeah, he's hiding from his failures ultimately at the end of the day, Ainsley. But really the key part here is that Tim Walz has actually stopped payments to himself. Over the last 90 days, he has caused these problems. I've sat down with one of the largest autism providers here in the state of Minnesota, where ultimately up to 90% of those programs are fraudulent. Those legitimate autism services programs are still not receiving funds. So he's paused payments on legitimate programs while DHS has claimed that over half of these providers are being paid right now. So that means, if you do the math there correctly, they're actually paying out to fraudsters while legitimate providers aren't getting the services he claims he wants to actually provide.
Dustin, thank you so much for coming on with us.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.